Give me a thumbs up if you've read this already. Okay, if you haven't read it already, we're gonna go through it today. And some of you already read it and answered some questions, and you did such a good job with like citing text evidence and really saying all of the things that you found when you were, hold on one second, when you were answering the questions. But one of the things I noticed was main idea, and main idea is kind of hard sometimes. So some people said the main idea is Frida Kahlo, and some people said the main idea of this passage was Frida Kahlo's art. And so we're going to talk a little bit today about how can we find the main idea. Thumbs up if you're hearing everything okay. Awesome, awesome, great job. Okay, so we're going to start down what I like to call the main idea road. So the first thing you have to know when you're determining the main idea is this story or is this passage straight information? It's all information, there's no story to it. Or sometimes you have to know, is this passage a lot of information, but there's a little bit of story to it? I think sometimes when we hear, like when we think about story elements, like is there plot, is there a beginning, is there a middle, is there an end? Because sometimes things like Magic School Bus, there's so much information, but there's also the story about the kids riding the bus and getting shrunk. So there's information and there's story. Sometimes you will find that a passage is mostly story, but there's a little bit of information that you read in it. So you can learn something, but mostly the whole purpose, the author's purpose, was to just tell a story. And sometimes stories or passages are just a story. Like they just are there to entertain you. They're not trying to teach you anything. They're not trying to give you information about anything. So we're going to look at Frida Kahlo, and I want you to think about, was this big I, meaning just information? Was this mostly information and a little bit of narrative, or a little bit of those story entertaining elements? Was it mostly entertaining and they just wanted you to learn a little bit of information, or was it just story? So I'm actually just going to read the Frida Kahlo passage to you, and I want you to think about it. Frida Kahlo was a famous artist from Mexico. She is known for her striking self-portraits or paintings she made of herself. Frida was born in 1907 and grew up in Mexico. She had a difficult childhood. When she was 6, she became ill with a disease called polio. This disease damaged her right leg and foot, and after that, Frida wore long skirts to hide her legs. In fact, her paintings almost always show her wearing a long skirt. When Frida was a teenager, she was in a serious bus accident, and she had to stay in bed to recover from her injuries. She began painting from her bed to pass the time, and within a year, she had painted her first self-portrait. It is called Self-Portrait in a Velvet Dress. This painting was the first of many self-portraits to come. Frida's self-portraits are sometimes called surrealist. Surrealist artwork was realistic and fantastical or dreamlike at the same time. This can be seen in some of Frida's paintings. In one self-portrait, two Fridas are sitting next to each other. Both of their hearts can be seen through their bodies. In another painting, vines go out of Frida's stomach. But Frida did not think of her paintings as fantastical. She felt she was showing her own truth. Her paintings often showed the things that were troubling her. Some showed the things that were very important to her. In some of them, she is surrounded by birds or animals. In others, she is wearing traditional Mexican clothing, showing her connection to her country. Over the course of their life, Frida painted 55 self-portraits. She is remembered as a talented artist and an important figure. All right, so raise your hands if you guys know. Do you think this is mostly to inform us? Do you think it's mostly to inform with a little bit of story? Is it mostly entertaining with a little bit of information, or is it just all story and entertaining? What do you think? Raise your hand if you have an idea. I'm going to unmute you. Jovi, what do you think?
I think it's all information.
You think it's all information. Big I. You can give a thumbs up if you agree with her or a me too. Either one, let's see. I see Janie agrees, Jacob agrees. Good job. It looks like everybody agrees.
I agree with myself.
You agree with yourself. Oh, good. All right, does anybody disagree? Raise your hand if you disagree.
No.
No, everybody agrees. Awesome. Okay. So we now know that this is information. So if it is either one of these two things, if the author's purpose is mostly to inform, you can keep going down the main idea road. If you're like, no, this is to tell a story, then you need to get off main idea road because there's not really going to be a main idea in a story. You're going to find more story elements like beginning, middle, and end. So the next thing that we're going to look at is the point of view. Okay? I just call it the POV. All right, so everybody get ready.
Okay.
Oh, I gotta mute you, Jovi.
I'm going to mute myself.
Thanks. So when you do point of view, first person is I. So this is sign language is I. So everybody do this. Go first person, I. First person, I. That means the narrator says, I am Frida Kahlo. I did many paintings. So I. Second person is you. Or no, sorry, second person is you. So you're gonna point with like the two eyes at the person across from you. Ready? Second person, you. Good job. So second person means that narrator is telling it you. You are Frida Kahlo. You paint surrealist paintings. You did paintings about it. You. So first person, I. Second person, you. Third person is he, she, or they. That means whoever wrote this story is saying that she is Frida Kahlo. She did surrealist paintings. She. So, or Frida, but they're not saying I am Frida Kahlo, you are Frida Kahlo. They're saying she is Frida Kahlo. So I want you guys to think, is this person telling this story from I am Frida Kahlo, first person, second person, you are Frida Kahlo, or third person, he, she, or they is Frida Kahlo? I want you to show me the sign. Everybody show me the sign. I, you, or they. Oh, I'm seeing some of these. I'm seeing, oh, let me look. Oh, good job. Everybody I'm seeing is doing this. You're right. So this is third person. So if you have the piece of paper, Frida Kahlo, I'll show you mine. I wrote third person at the top because that's important to know. I'm gonna admit someone else. All right, so third person. So if you have that page, I'm gonna take it, and I know that this is third person, so I'm gonna write a 3 here. That's gonna help us because usually when it's things like I, there's a lot more narrative in it because they're telling a story about themselves. Okay, now we're gonna go to my next, and this is kind of my favorite part, is we're gonna look and see if there are repeated words in this passage. Okay, when there are repeated words, it usually means that the author thinks those words are super important for you to know. So when we're talking about repeated words, we're not saying words like it, I. Those are kind of unimportant words, right? Like those are just those little baby words. We're talking about words that you see that are like, oh, that might mean something. That's repeated more than once because that means it's important to the author. So we are going to share my screen and we are going to look at this passage and we are going to see if, that's my answer key. Here's my other one. But we're gonna look at that passage and we're gonna see if we can find repeated words. I'm gonna unmute all of you, okay? If there's background noise or something, you can feel free to mute yourself, but I want you to show me or say, that's a repeated word. And since I'm sharing my screen, I won't be able to see you. Okay, you ready to unmute?
I already unmuted myself.
There we go. We're unmuting all of you. And
How are you in space?
Share my screen.
Get a background.
You can choose background.
What? How do you do that? Background.
We will work on choosing some backgrounds in a little bit, okay? So we're gonna go to ReadWorks here. I'm gonna see you all over here. and I have my highlighter. Let's see, make sure this works. Okay, so I want you to look at this passage and see if you see any repeated words. Oh, I see a hand up.
Well, I don't. Me. I
see. Oh, I see Mackenzie's hands up. I see Tripp's hands up. All right, let's start. Brooke, what word do you see repeats?
Self-portraits.
Just use it on there if you see
Self-portraits. Okay. She said she sees the word self-portrait. So I'm going to highlight self-portraits. If you have your paper, you can highlight it or underline it yourself too. Let's see if we see any more self-portraits.
You want a piece of paper to write on, so if you see something.
Oh, I see another self-portrait.
It's easy to say.
Something besides self-portraits, that's what
Another self-portrait. Oh my goodness. Brooke, you are right. I didn't even realize.
Oh, there's another one right there.
Another, oh, good job. Okay. Tell me if you see it as we're going. Mine's okay. She's okay.
There's one more.
There's one more. Oh, you guys found it. All right. Are there any other words you see that repeat? Are there any other words you see that repeat? Mackenzie, what word do you see repeat?
I see Frida repeated.
Frida, so you think she might be important?
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Frida. Oh, all right, there you are, highlighter. Do you want Frida Kahlo or just Frida?
Frida.
Just Frida, okay.
Okay.
Frida. Oh, I see me too. I see some of you are agreeing. Frida. Oh my gosh, guys, there's a ton of Fridas too.
Highlight your Fridas.
Frida. Okay.
Frida.
Oh, am I missing one?
No, I'm just saying Frida whenever I highlight something.
Okay. All right, do you guys see another one? Yes, go ahead. Bree's daughter.
I see paintings a lot.
Painting. Oh, very good. What's your name again, sweet girl?
Owen.
Owen. All right. Owen sees painting. All right. Oh,
There's one in the first sentence.
There's one in the first sentence.
Yeah, there's one in the last row there.
And there's one in the last. Did I get it?
There's one on the bottom.
There's one on the bottom. Oh, I see another painting.
There's one right.
Okay.
The very last
Right after on the bottom.
Frida.
There's one after Frida on the bottom.
After Frida on the bottom. Okay. Let me see.
No, there's also one in the. You missed.
One up here in the third paragraph.
There's one after Frida, and like you're close. Go over. Yeah, right there.
I get it.
Go back up to the third
And
paragraph.
there's one right. Oh, there's another painting.
All right.
There's another one.
There's another one.
This one.
Yes. No, there's one down. Like
Another one. Go up and go down.
yeah, right there. Yeah.
Hey, Jenny,
Yes.
would it have helped them if they would have numbered their paragraphs like we showed them?
It could be. If you guys want to number your paragraphs down the side, I don't know how to do that on a web page, but if you can write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it'll kind of help you say, oh, there's another one in paragraph 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Do you guys see any other ones?
Amy,
Yes.
I see there's a lot of in there.
A lot of what?
There's a bunch of she's.
She's. Now I have a question. Who is she referring to?
Frida.
Frida. So since we highlighted Frida, can we just count that as our she's?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else you guys see? It doesn't have to be reported a ton of times, but is there any other words that you see?
Disease.
Let's see. Where do you see that? What paragraph?
In the second paragraph, there's only 2 times.
Okay, well, that's okay. Do you guys want to make that a different color since there's only 11? Okay, we can do that.
Look at paragraph 1 and
Color
paragraph 2. There's a word that's used twice in there.
I only have a yellow one.
It's okay. You can even just do, you could still highlight it yellow. I just changed it because we were not sure about that one.
Paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mm-hmm.
There's one in paragraph 5.
No. We're talking about a different word.
Oh, somebody's got another word?
Paragraph 2.
Think about the country.
Do you guys see anything
Oh,
else?
Mexico is repeated.
Oh, okay. Is Mexico repeated a lot or just a little bit?
A little
bit.
bit.
Okay, all right. So let's go with green for that one too, okay? I see Mexico,
And Mexico.
Mexico.
And
That's Mexican. That's Mexican. But that still counts.
You guys think Mexico can go with Mexican?
Yeah.
I mean the same thing there. All right, do you guys see any other words?
What paragraph is that in?
Which paragraph? What
Three.
paragraph is that? I see 1 and 2, and then I see Mexican is in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Paragraph 5. Okay, is there anything else you guys think that you see?
Well, leg is repeated 2 times, so that's not important.
Great job. Was that Brooke or Mackenzie?
That's Mackenzie.
Mackenzie, good job. Excellent. So leg is important, but we don't know, or leg is repeated, but we don't know that that's necessarily important. Okay, yes, go ahead. That's not Owen. That is Bree's other daughter. What's your name? Okay, what do you see repeated?
Artist.
Artist.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, good job. I heard about it. Oh, yeah, I see that too. Good job.
How many times is it repeated? In the last. 1, 2.
All right, let's see.
Yeah, I only see 2. There's one in the 6th. There's one in the last one. And the first one. One in the first one.
Yeah. So should we do that one green too?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we'll do that one green. So there's artist here. And then we have artist down here, you said?
Yeah.
Do you guys see any other artists?
see artwork.
Do you want to count artwork with artist?
Yeah.
Okay, where is artwork?
Paragraph 4.
Where is it?
Paragraph.
34.
Yeah. Artwork. Okay. Now I have a question. And you guys think about this and see what you think about if we should do this or not. So it has word like talented and famous. Do you guys think those are the same things?
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of. Wait, what?
I will highlight it in a different color.
Because you have to be talented to be famous.
That would be excellent if that was always true. I agree. So you think famous, whoop, where are you? Famous and talented.
I think you have to be talented.
Then maybe you have to be talented to be famous.
Wait, does this make a difference? Because they both have artists at the end.
Oh, I don't know, Ethan. What do you think?
I don't know.
They do.
One says famous artist, one says talented artist. So they're both describing the kind of artist she was. Okay. So I think we did a good job, guys.
Wait, which paragraph is that in?
Talented is in the bottom, it is in the last paragraph, and famous is in the first. Okay, we're good. So, famous or talented. I have another question. Do you guys think surrealist is repeated enough to be important?
It is repeated.
Yeah.
But it would probably be in green.
Yeah.
So you're thinking that would be a green one.
I was thinking about that, but I didn't know for sure.
You know, I don't know either, and we're going to find out. So sometimes we do this, and then we're like, actually, that word we don't really need. All right. So we're going to go here. All right. And I'm going to write down some of these words that we found were repeated. So we had the word Frida, had the word Mexico or Mexican, either one. We had self-portrait. We had paintings. We had surrealist. And we had famous or talented. We weren't sure which one. We think they both mean about the same thing, but we're not quite sure. So these are all words that the author thought were really important. So we're going to try and use these words, and we're not going to add very many other words. You can add like little words like to, is, in, like just those little baby words. But I want you to see, can you try and make a sentence using all of these words?
Oh, Jamie, we had silver, I think it's called.
What do we have?
I have one
Rose?
highlighted in green. I forgot what it was like.
Surrealist?
Yeah.
I have that right here.
She has it.
Okay. So I want you to try, and I'm going to mute all of you because I know sometimes you like to talk to each other and talk, like you got to think out loud. So I'm going to mute all of you for just about a minute, and I want you to see if you can make a sentence using all of these words.
I'm going to mute myself.
So I'm trying to think, if I was thinking, I would probably start it with Frida. That might be a good place to start it. So I know, oh, I forgot artist. Ah! I knew I was forgetting a word, artist. That might be an important word. And because I remember something Ethan said that I thought was really cool. He said famous and talented went with artist.
I have a question.
Yes.
Does painted count as the same thing as paintings?
What do you guys think? Thumbs up or thumbs sideways? I'm not sure. Thumbs up. Paintings and painter, painted. All of it counts as the same. I see yes. I see everybody agrees. Yeah. You can use painting, painted, painter. I'll just do this. Because we did all of those. Can you guys see that? All right. I'll switch you all to gallery view. Who has a sentence they would like to share? Who has a sentence they would like to share? All right. Mackenzie, what was your sentence?
Frida, I didn't get to finish, but Frida was a famous artist. She painted self-portraits. She lived in Mexico.
Very good. I love that you had, but I want to see, Mackenzie, can you combine that to make one sentence? See if you can do it all in one sentence. It's tricky, I know. All right, let's see. Janie, what do you have?
Frida's famous Mexican self-portraits are artistic and talented.
Okay, so let's see. So you used Frida's famous, keep going, tell me again.
Frida's famous Mexican self-portraits are artistic and talented.
And talented. Okay. We could also could we also say her paintings were surrealist?
Yes.
Good job. All right. Anybody else? All right, let's hear it from Ethan.
Frida's self-portraits paintings from famous and talented artists from Mexico.
Okay, so we were saying she's self-portrait, she's famous, and she's from Mexico. Good job. All right, let's hear from Jovi. Jovi, go ahead.
Okay. So, Frida was born in Mexico and painted self-portraits. She's famous and a talented artist / surrealist.
All right, you guys are doing a fantastic job. I am really impressed, especially because this is a lot of you, the first time that you've ever done this. I'm going to tell you what my sentence was. Mine was, Frida is a famous Mexican artist who painted surrealist self-portraits. So Frida was a famous Mexican artist who painted surrealist self-portraits. So this, guys, is my topic sentence. This is telling me that this is what the author kind of found was important. From knowing my topic sentence, main idea takes 2 roads. In one road, it's stated. The author literally just writes the sentence that is the main idea. It's like, hey, here it is. This is one sentence. That's the main idea. In the other way, it means it's implied, which means the author actually never tells us the main idea. It's there, but we kind of have to write our own main idea sentence to check everything from. So there's 2 ways we can go. We can go stated, or we can go implied after we have our topic sentence. Okay? So now I want you to look, and I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. Is there a sentence that is the main idea? Is there one sentence that it's like, that's it. That's the main idea. The author wrote it. So I'm going to unmute everybody, and I'm going to share my screen again, and we're going to look at this passage. Is there one sentence that you are like, yep, that's it? 1 or 2 even.
I know it.
All right, let me see. Let's see who's got it. If you've got it, give me thumbs up. If you see it, you may not see it. All right, Jamie, what do you see?
Frida Kahlo was a famous artist from Mexico.
Right here.
And the second one.
And this. Guess what? You got it.
Mm-hmm.
You got it. I think that's it. That had everything we had. It's kind of 2 sentences, but it's the same. We can even take that and make it like we did before, but those 2 things tell us what everything else is going to be about. So read this. When Frida was born, is all of the second paragraph about the self-portrait she made of herself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of tells us a little bit about her. I'm not sure that all of it matches that perfectly, but I can kind of see how it connects. How about when she was in a serious bus accident?
No.
That was her first self-portrait.
Good job. That was her first self-portrait. And then if we go on, is the next one about it?
It's about how she's a surrealist and one of her paintings.
Right, but that's her strength.